Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing a John Maclean inspired kind of like simple eye look. He recently just released a video and I wanted to copy it, so let's go ahead and get into it. The big thing about this look is just it's kind of like a subtle definition of the eyes. It's very simple, very kind of straightforward. I'm also going to be using a brand new palette today. I'm going to be using the GOIN Matte palette that was recently released by Colourpop. This is a bunch of matte shades. It ranges from kind of like a white all the way to like a black. So yeah, we're gonna use this and we're going to make an eye look, so let's go. So we're gonna have this bone white shade right here, so that's gonna be the lightest, and then we're gonna have a kind of like charcoaly ashy black in this lower corner right here. So it runs the full color range, so it's gonna be really good for a lot of skin tones, and it's gonna be really comprehensive, and you can build out and kind of like sculpt like your eye and basically like, you know, your whole upper half of your face with this. So cool. Yeah, let's go ahead and bust into this. So I'm taking the NYX Shadow and Primer line, Ultimate Shadow and Liner Primer. This is in the shade, I believe it was light. Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and take that. I am going to just put some of that on the lid and onto the other lid as well. Here, let me just get a little bit more. And then they had Morphe brushes on sale recently, so I kind of caved and bought them. So I'm going to take this like flat packer brush, and then I am going to just distribute this all over the lid, just to make sure that every little bit of my eye has a little bit of that product on there, just so the shadows perform. You know, the product helps the shadows perform. So we're going to let that dry down for a little bit, and then we will hop into the shadows. Okay, so I went ahead and let it dry down a little bit. I zoomed the camera out just a tiny bit, just because like without zoomed in, it was on my face. It was giving me kind of anxiety. So cool. I'm going to go into this one, and then I'm going to go into this shade called Teddy right here. It's a shade that's really similar to my skin tone. Actually, You're a Foe, I'm going to go into that one. That's a little bit closer to my skin tone, so I'm going to, yeah, go into that one, and then blank out my eye and just make another, like a base layer that is really close to my skin tone, just so the shadows go over top of everything easier. Cool, just like that, we have the eyes blanked out now. So I'm going to move into another shade real quick. I have to dig through my brushes first, give me 1 second. Okay, so I don't know how much footage I lost, but my camera decided to shut off. So as you can see right here, I am pulling this brown shade, this ultra suede shade, a little bit further out of my eye, just to give it a little bit more dimension. So yeah, that's what I'm doing right now, and then I'm going to go ahead and start the other eye. Just like that, there we have that shade laid. Okay, so now I'm going to take a little bit more of kind of like a flat smudger brush, and then I'm going to take the shade right above it called the Cuddles. I don't know if you can see it, it's right there. And then I'm going to just kind of drag that towards the center of my eye, just to give my whole lid a little bit more of kind of like a blanked out, like defined color. So upon initial try, this brush is actually a little bit scratchy. And I really don't use Morphe brushes that frequently, or I have that one Morphe brush that I swear by, but I really haven't used a lot of their eye brushes. This one is a little sus. I don't know, I'm going to keep trying it. It might just need to get broken in, but yeah, we will see how this performs in the long run. Okay, so I think that's going to be good for eye definition, so let's go ahead and move on to the next shade. So I thought I had a flat shader brush, or flat liner brush, but I don't. So unfortunately, we are just going to use this little kind of like domed pencil brush. I'm going to go into the shade Velvet Dress. It's this deep brown right here, and then I'm going to just kind of like smudge it along the lower lash line, and then probably hop into a different color and then just do a little bit of definition in the inner corner. Cool, just like that. Has that little bit of extra definition just to make your eyes a little bit more deeper and smokier, and just gives you a little bit more pizzazz, you know? Cool, just like that, we have that done. Okay, so I just want a little bit more brightness on the lid itself, so I'm going to take the shade Love Bug right here. It's kind of like that matte bone color, or they're all matte, I don't know why I said they're matte. But yeah, I'm going to take that, and then I'm going to just run that all over the lid with like a fluffy brush. It's really surprising because this white shade is actually really pigmented, and it's showing up a little bit more than I wanted it to, but it should be fine. We're, you know, blanking out our eye, making it nice and natural looking, so yeah, that should be good. So I would say that's more or less the eyes completed. So what I'm going to do now, I am going to take the e.l.f. Primer Infused Blush. I don't remember what shade this was, and I'm going to take an angled, kind of like face brush, and then I'm just going to kind of sculpt out the back part of my face. And bronzer and everything kind of brought forward on your face. It rounds off your face a little bit more, and it just kind of makes it look a little bit more stout. This is going to give your face a little bit more of a lift and kind of like a natural definition. So basically what I do right here, I blend it back up into under my cheekbone, right into this my beard line right there. So yeah, let's go ahead and do that. Cool, and then as you can see, just a little bit of color, just a little bit more kind of like a face defining shape. And then I'm going to take that along the hairline as well. Cool, and just like you said, we have that little bit of color laid down, and it just gives our face a little bit more kind of depth. So how's been everyone doing recently? I just tested positive for COVID a couple days ago, so that's not fun. Thankfully my symptoms or anything haven't been really too serious. I've just been having like a persistent cough, and for a couple days I just felt terrible, but I actually am feeling pretty good now. I have like another week left of quarantine, so that's kind of driving me insane, but you know, better to quarantine and not get people sick, so always wear masks, get vaccinated, yeah. And then I'm going to take a very, very natural blush. This is the Butter Blush in the shade Natural Glow. So I'm just going to take that on kind of like a powder brush, and then just sweep it all over the lower part of the face. The good thing about this one is that it is a fairly fair blush, so it really doesn't show up on my skin tone. It's more of kind of like a brightener. So yeah, I am going to just kind of build that up right on the cheeks. Use a kind of like a sweeping motion just to give a little bit of extra kind of like shape to with that with the, oh my god, with the bronzer. And just like that, we have that kind of set and good to go. So then now I'm taking my favorite highlight. This is one of my favorite highlights. This is the Catrice Sungasm highlighter. I'm going to take a fluffy brush, load up the product, and then put it just right at the top of the cheekbone right here. Just because like I don't want a super crazy highlight, just something just a little bit to give a little bit of glow and dimension in your face. Well, when it's mixing with that blush shade a little bit, because I did bring it a lot higher, and as you can see, it's just giving me kind of like a very healthy, just natural like glow. Just like as you see, just gives a little bit of a lift, not anything super crazy. So yeah, I think this is going to be the finished look for today. So let's go ahead and go over some final thoughts, and we will wrap it up. So initial impressions on the GOIN Matte palette, they're a lot more pigmented than I was anticipating. I mean, because Colourpop formulas usually perform pretty well, but especially this kind of like, you know, that bone white shade is a lot more pigmented than I was anticipating, which is I'm not mad at, but I was kind of thrown at first, so yeah, definitely be careful with that. But so for the other shades that I've been using, again, standard Colourpop formula, standard, really just kind of like a little bit dusty, but it has like a lot of color payoff. There's no fallout. It's, yeah, all in all, I would say a pretty good palette. But yeah, that is going to be today's video. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, do all of that. I will try to make videos more frequently. Fingers crossed, you know. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I will see you again. Bye.